You two did a great job last week. Was it something you said? I don't know. We left you to it, didn't we, last week? But yeah, it was great to see the two of you doing an excellent job on Pure West Sport and holding the fort. And we are back to full strength this evening. Fraser, you well?
Very good, Ben. Yeah, busy weekend working. I was actually blogging in on the Six Nations games. There's plenty of breaking stories to come out of them, I tell you. But more importantly, as Gordon has noted, I'm able to wear my Swansea attire again. Good result for Alan Sheehan. So yeah, not bad at all. Thanks, Ben.
And what's the news on Alan Sheehan, Fraser? Is he getting the job till the end of the season, or is he a contender?
It hasn't been decided yet. It's been quiet on that front in terms of a potential candidate, but he's doing a good job at the moment. But he said himself that they will review the situation, I think, after the Burnley Leeds game. But Burnley and Leeds games coming. Sorry, after the Burnley game before the international break. Then, but he hasn't divulged much whether he's on for it full time or not.
And he did impress last time, didn't he, in interim charge? Actually, I just wonder whether if he keeps up a decent run of results, he does get the job till the end of the season, buys them a bit more time. And of course, the former Swansea manager, who I once gave a rave review on this show, Michael Duff, parted company with another club last night, didn't he? He left Huddersfield. So yeah, it's not gone great for him since he left Cheltenham and Barnsley. No. Tom, how are you? All right?
I'm very well, thank you. And thankfully, I only watched one game of rugby.
Which one?
Sadly, it was the last
one. Okay. Well, listen, we're going to get into the Six Nations in part 2. We'll have a look ahead to what's to come, of course, with Wales-England in Cardiff. Maybe get some memories of Wales-England matches from years gone by as well, and get some analysis on what we've made of Matt Sherritt's first 2 games as interim head coach. But let's start with local football, shall we, this evening? We heard in the first hour of the show from Hakin's goal scorer Shane Walsh, didn't we? Scored 2 as they won 4-1 on Friday night on the new surface at the Oggy Bridge Meadow Stadium. First time a Senior Cup semi-final has not been played on a grass pitch, we think. What did we make of it? Gordon, were you there on Friday?
Yes, I was there, and lo and behold, I had to change my footwear to take photographs. They wouldn't allow me on the pitch, which is quite right. So I donned my football boots, Ben, and went on the bridge, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought they would have allowed trainers or, something flat, but no, they were pretty strict. So they managed to find me a pair of boots, size 9s, and I was expecting Scott Davis to sign me there and then, but he didn't even ask me, so I know what the answer
What's
is.
the thinking behind that then? What's the damage of trainers?
Well, I just don't know, really. I didn't think it would damage the surface that badly. Yeah. But that's a rule they have in place. You have to abide by it. So
I did actually have a genuine question.
I was the only photographer there. Poor old Rod turned up, who you know, and they wouldn't let him on to take the pictures.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I did see the pictures from the game, and I did think to myself that the players would probably have had to wear different boots. This is before I knew this story. Different boots to what they would usually wear playing on grass. So is it moulded that they use?
I
for
think
that
it's
surface?
bladies and moulds that you can wear. I didn't have a look at the actual document, what they should be, but they definitely were checking players and officials to make sure that they had the correct footwear to don the Bridge Meadow. So it is different, but it costs a lot of money, that surface as well. You have to respect it. And I think that both teams, they thoroughly enjoyed the game out on the meadow. It looked pristine as well.
Yeah, indeed. And actually on the pitch, it was a good performance by Hakin to go through. Gordon, were they well deserved of that?
Yeah, they were. It was 1-1 at half-time. They had the better of the first half. Shane scored, I think it was about 33 minutes from the edge of the box. He hit a strike into the far corner. And Pennar didn't look like getting any goals at that point. They hadn't had a shot on target. And just before the break, they made Liam Phillips made a break down the left, crossed it into the box, in Hakin's box, and Ben Adams came in and he got in between the centre halves and placed it past Fawcett to make it 1-1. They probably didn't deserve to be 1-1 at half time, but it made for an interesting second half. And Hakin were much of the time on top, but fair play to Pennar, they dug deep without creating too many chances. That was the problem. They didn't really, Hakin were well contained. They didn't have any sort of nothing to really worry about. They got the second goal, and Ben Aldridge struck a terrific third with a 18-yard free kick. It might have been 20 yards, but he hit the top corner. It was a hell of a shot. And Shane Walsh got his second about the 91st minute, I think it was. And that was it.
And you spoke to Shane Walsh, Fraser, didn't you, in the first hour of the show, on good form with that brace to take Hakin through to the final, yeah?
Well, it's funny, man. We talked about Rich Darling, weren't we, not so long ago, about probably... It's got a bit of notice, I think, his achievements as a striker in the Pembrokeshire League. I think he is up there amongst the division's top players ever, top strikers ever. And Shane Walsh is probably another player who's gone very underrated. He's done it for a long time now. His career started a little bit modestly in terms of Pembrokeshire football, if I may say that. I mentioned the interview, I remember first covering when he was at Milford Athletic, who were in a lower league, and then he went to Herbrandston, and it was a while before he made the step to Hakin in Division 1. Yeah. Very consistent since.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
important play and can play up front or wide.
We spoke about it before, Fraser. You had the likes of Woodward, Hardin. They're good quality strikers, and you're right. He's been under the radar a little bit, but in big games, he always seems to turn up.
Scored some crucial goals.
Yeah, he has over the last couple of seasons. To be fair to him,
but Hakin got the bit beating their teeth again now. It looked like the season was almost teetering, actually. They were expected to lose that Senior Cup game in Goodwick and all eggs in the West Wales basket. Now they're looking at a cup double. So they've got some momentum back. Too late to challenge Goodwick for the title, but certainly both they'll be eyeing a cup double now.
I managed to have you obviously interviewed Scott. I had a word with him at the weekend as well, and I was saying, it shows a lot of character to come back and win at Goodwick the way they did. And they're still on for the West Wales Cup as well. And if it all bodes well, they probably have St Joseph's, who knocked out Goodwick, and he's quietly confident that they'll turn them over quite comfortably.
Interesting.
And I think he said, well, if I don't believe it, good, the players won't. So you're right there, Scott.
Fair.
Good for him.
Leading from the front.
Standing in Hakin's way then in the Senior Cup will either be the holders, Clarbeston Road, or Milford United, and they play this Friday at the Oggy Bridge Meadow, 14th of March, the second Senior Cup semi-final, with the final on the 12th of April. So Clarbeston Road have got that know-how, Fraser, from winning it last season. Do you make them favourites going into that game?
Yeah, I can't see past them, I'll be honest with you. Matt Fox, the Clarby boss, you spoke to him last week, didn't he? He did make the point that it's actually 1-1 in terms of league games with Milford United. So, there's every chance the Robins do have a chance. It's certainly not a foregone conclusion. Clarby are clear favourites, though, I will say that. And like you say, they do have more experience of that stage. We saw what they can do last year. They haven't had a consistent squad out this year. I guess every side in Pembrokeshire could probably say that. But I expect them to be full strength Friday and expect them to have too much, to be honest.
Gordon, would you go with that? Any different take on that as a prediction?
Milford United suffered a 6-1 defeat at Moncton at the weekend. Possibly they went at full strength, bearing in mind they got this semi-final, which is what they'd like to do, is get to the final and have a derby game against Hakin. You never know in cup games. We've seen upsets in semi-finals before, Fraser, but I really, at this moment in time, can't see how Milford United can topple Clarby. Clarby just got a little bit.
Is it a leveller? Is it a leveller though? The fact that it's at the Bridge Meadow on that different surface, does that? It's a good surface to play on, isn't it? Under the lights, does that just level things a bit?
Perhaps. I mean, we did say as well the quarter-final win. Actually, Scott Reed and Liam Parr and playing much this season both play big roles in that. Yeah. So if they're both available, yes. Certainly. I mean, in terms of a leveller, maybe I'm not sure that's the right word, Ben, but it certainly changes the dynamic because it's obviously a more suitable style,
I mean, let's think about it. Clarby are going into it as the favourites this time.
Yeah.
Whereas last season they were the big underdogs in the semi-final and the final against Goodwick. They managed to break their duck and win the trophy for the first time in the club's history. And that could go one or two ways. They can either be, we're going to go out and do it again, or it's going to put a lot of pressure on them and they don't perform. So it'll be interesting on Friday night.
It was interesting to hear Shane Wells say how big it would be for the area of Milford if it was a Milford Hakin final. And I did say to him it would be great, but I'm not sure the pubs in Milford will thank you too much. That'll be a big night.
I'm not sure, did they beat him in the Mercury Cup this season, or was that last season?
Last season they beat them in the Joe Lennon.
You know, these things happen, don't they?
So all right, let's all do it then with one more semi to come.
We're all confused, that's what we are, Ben.
One more semi-final to come on Friday. Hakin already in the final. Who's going to win the Senior Cup on the 12th of April? Gordon?
Well, we don't know who the other finalists is, Jeff, Ben.
No, I did set the scene for you. Yeah, I did set the scene. Yeah.
It'll take a big side to beat Hakin, that's all I'll say. It'll take a big team effort to be able to beat them on their day.
Tom?
I thought the same last year. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's Goodwick," and Clarby
go,
Road
Ben.
came out. So you know what? I'm going to go for Clarby this Friday and going on to cause an upset.
Well, I was actually going to say the same. Actually, I think they might just do it and retain that trophy. You never know. Fraser, are you going to go Hakin?
In 2019, Ben, I famously strongly tipped Goodwick to win a Senior Cup semi-final. My good friends at Clarby went and stunned them that day. They were a Division 2 side. They stunned Goodwick that night, 1-2-1. Gordon was there as well, and they informed me afterwards that they'd pinned my tweeter on the dressing room wall. So I'm going to give them another opportunity by saying Hakin United will win.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Great
and I'll take
motivation.
full credit if Clarby do.
Yeah, okay.
And then just to wind them up even more, I said it earlier off here, they got beaten 7-1 the last time they played Hakin in a final.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woodrow scored one of the great Senior Cup final goals.
Well, let's see. One more semi to come then. That's on Friday. That's Milford against Clarbeston Road. And we'll have coverage of that, of course, on Pure West. We'll talk about it on the show next Monday. And we'll look forward to the Senior Cup final, which is always a great occasion, of course. There were 3 games in Division 1 on Saturday. Let's get some thoughts on these. I'll just give you the 3 scores and then you can give us some reaction. Clarbeston Road 3, Tenby 2. As Gordon said, Milford United went down 6-1 away to Moncton, and Goodwick United had a 1-0 win against St Ishmael's. We know Goodwick are going to win the league, so we've said for a few weeks now. What did you make of those 3 games, Gordon, on Saturday?
Well, I did pop to Clarby to have a look at them against Tenby, because it was only a couple of weeks ago that they played each other in the Senior Cup and drew 3-3, and Clarby won on penalties. So got there, and there was a quick goal scored by, let me just check, with Jake Booth had a goal in the 3rd minute to set the tone of, I thought, here we go, this is going to be a bit of a thriller, and it turned out quite a good game actually. Scott Fernie scored 2 either side half time before and after half time. And then it was young Rhys Lloyd Roberts. He's only 17. He was having a little... He's had a few games lately, this young lad up front. And he got the equaliser. And then 10 minutes from the end, cometh the hour, cometh the man, up Laurie Howarth to get the winner, 3-2. So, yeah, it was a really good game, to be fair, for, neither side can win the league or have probably runners-up either, because that's between Goodwick and Hakin. Goodwick are going to win the league, Hakin come second. Well, Clarby is sitting 3rd, but it was a good result for them, to be fair.
Yeah, okay. Just on that 6-1 defeat for Milford as well, Fraser, that's a bit of work to do there, isn't it, to lift yourselves after that for a semi-final? You can do that. It's a semi-final, obviously, but they wouldn't have wanted that, would they?
There is that point once this weekend is out the way. Well, they'll either have a final to look forward to or not, but they got the very serious business of trying to stay up at the moment. And that late Nathan Green goal, I think it was for Goodwick against Tish. Tish are a decent side. I spoke to Chris Sullivan on Sunday, and he knew they'd be a handful. I actually watched them in Goodwick earlier in the year, so they were 1-0 up in that game, and then I think fitness took over. But Tish are battling. That was a battling performance Saturday. That point could have been massive. That late goal could have ramifications at both ends of the table. But at the moment, you look at it, they've both got 2 games left, level on points because of the goal difference. Milford have got to get something from somewhere. They could lose 2 games and they're down. At the moment, without going into the fixtures they've got, Tish look more likely to stay up. That's for sure. take a lot of heart from pushing Goodwick all the way Saturday. So it's going to go down to the wire. It's exciting in a way, not for the teams involved, obviously, but with the title race looking dusted now. In terms of the league, it does make for an interesting finish, but I think it's probably advantage Tish at the moment, but that would have been a hammer blow from it. A point would have been a massive boost on Saturday.
Definitely.
Yeah, okay, and it's looking like, in Division 2, it's looking like Narberth and Fishguard are coming up, isn't it, as we get into that business end of the season.
Fishguard are officially promoted.
Confirmed.
They're officially promoted. But going back to that, I just wanted to say this, in the Moncton game, Dylan Davis has been in exceptional form. He actually had a hat-trick in that game and 3 assists. Fair play. You can't do much more than that on a Saturday afternoon, can you?
No, fair play.
No, that's a great effort. And we'll just finish part 1. Just to mention for Haverfordwest, who had a really tough game on Saturday, actually. They were beaten 5-1 by TNS. And the general view was that this TNS side this season are just streets ahead at the moment. That was the view that seemed to come from the Haverfordwest camp, because the Bluebirds are in good form going into it. But TNS do look particularly strong, and their run in Europe as well has clearly boosted them. It's hard, isn't it, for the rest of the division to compete even more so at the moment, and we saw that on Saturday, didn't we, for Haverfordwest?
It's always going to be difficult because they're a professional outfit. I think that is the fact of the matter. I think Haverfordwest will be disappointed, actually. I don't think there'll be panic. It won't derail their season. I think they'll bounce back from it. But, TNS are the benchmark. And they would have liked to. It is the ultimate fixture in that league, isn't it? TNS away, and they would have liked to have gone and competed, especially the form they've been in. To lose 5-1 will disappoint them a bit, but I think it's a bump in the road. I don't think it's going to derail what they've been doing.
No.
Yeah, Bala away this Saturday, isn't it, for the Haverfordwest, and they'll be looking to bounce back really from that Gordon, won't they?
Oh, definitely. As Fraser said, Tony Pennock's side have played really well. It's the only game they've lost since the split, and it's no disgrace to lose to. I know the 5-1 sounds a bit of a hide-in, but they did leak an early goal, and things didn't quite go their way. But that's the quality that TNS have got, and that's why they are where they are. And, they're going to take some stopping, aren't they?
Yeah.
The thing that Haverfordwest, they've had a record-breaking season, to be fair to them. They just got to get their heads up, go to Bala, hopefully get a draw or a win. But the big game is the following Friday then, where they got Penny Bont at home.
Yeah.
That will be a massive game. As long as they can get a draw at Bala, or possibly a win, and then hopefully take 3 points off Penny Bont, and then they'd be in second place.
Yeah, which would be some finish, no doubt about that. Just a quick one to finish then on part 1, TNS. Where would they? They're full time, as you say, professional team. Where would they be in the English pyramid? Do you think would they hold their own in League 2? That TNS team?
I don't think so.
Do you really not?
It's a different ball game again, Ben, isn't it? It's a different level. I don't think it'll be that easy if they went up.
You got to remember, it was only a couple of years ago we were seeing Wrexham and Notts County battle for the National Conference. And the strength of their squads. No, I couldn't see them in the league.
Interesting. They sold a player to Saudi Arabia this season, didn't they, TNS,
yes,
as well?
Yeah,
which is some story, yeah. All right, listen, we are going to change sports and have a look at the weekend's Six Nations matches. Wales pushing Scotland towards the end, but did that flatter them a little bit? We'll get your views on that, and we'll look ahead, of course, to the final round of games with Wales, England in Cardiff. So any memories of watching that fixture over the years, give us some of your thoughts as well. That's to come in part 2 of tonight's Pure West Sport.
Eaton-Evans and Morris Solicitors have traditional values, but